Let's dive into this. Look who's with us this morning. Booger McFarland is here. Jeff Saturday is here. And I will start with Dianna Russini. Dianna, take us inside how and why Seattle made this deal for Adams.
Well, you just pointed to it. Jamal Adams is the Swiss Army knife. So there's no question of what his ability is as this team is trying to rebuild that Legion of Boom. But GM John Snyder has never been afraid to take shots, right? We've seen him trade for Jimmy Graham, Percy Harvin, Jadeveon Clowney. They were willing to take the risk. And look, the conversations with the New York Jets organization started weeks ago. This wasn't one of these deals that came together, in 24, 48 hours. But what did come together as it got closer was how much they were willing to trade to get Jamal Adams. So conversations got real serious about 4 days ago when the Jets were willing to listen even more to what Seattle was going to put on the table to add Jamal Adams, who's now part of the Seahawks.
So let's be clear on what you're saying here, because a lot of people will look at the fact that Jamal Adams was in the newspaper on Friday criticizing Adam Gase, the head coach, very loudly and other things, and then they trade him the following day. People will say the Jets decided they had to deal him after those comments. But you're telling me that isn't the reason the trade got made.
Yeah, the entire time the New York Jets organization has stayed with the fact and have been pretty committed to saying Jamal Adams will be on this team pretty much no matter what he was going to do. And we've all followed what he's done, which is a lot, to basically go up against this organization. That, I was told, had nothing to do. This all had to do with the price that the Seattle Seahawks were willing to pay to get him.
Okay, so now let's get into the football ramifications of this. Let's start with the Seattle side of it, because they're getting a great player. Booger McFarland, does this trade make Seattle the Super Bowl contender in your mind in the NFC?
Well, Greeny, I think they were already a Super Bowl contender with Russell Wilson. I think if you look at this team over the last several years, they were within one play of having home field advantage from the 49ers down by the goal line. They were always going to be that. Jamal Adams just strengthened their defense. Their defense gave up a few yards against the run. I want to say they averaged 4 to 4.5 yards against the run last year. Now you bring in a playmaker at the safety position. A lot of people are getting caught up on the position that Jamal Adams plays. I could care less, Greeny. I want guys that can make plays, and Jamal Adams is one of the best playmakers in the NFL. And when you put him in the system that Seattle runs, which is basically a single high cover 3 type system, he's going to be near the ball, and that's going to allow him to make a lot of plays. And I think this strengthens their defense. And Greeny, you know this. The first thing you have to do in the NFL is win your division. Well, who do you have to beat in that NFC West? You have to beat the San Francisco 49ers, and this allows them to go against maybe the most feared rushing team in our league and have one of the best playmaking safeties down stopping the run. So, yes, this strengthens their hold on what I think was an already rock-solid playoff spot this season.
Yeah, I didn't phrase the question well. I should have asked you if it makes them the favorite. Let me come to Jeff with that. How much of a difference? You're talking about probably the best division in football. You're talking about a vastly improved Arizona team, a Rams team that was in the Super Bowl 2 years ago, a Niners team that was in the Super Bowl last year, and the Seahawks, who have Russell Wilson and now Jamal Adams. In your mind, Jeff Saturday, are the Seahawks now the Super Bowl? Are they the team to beat in the NFC?
No. And Jamal Adams didn't make them. To Booger's point, is he a great safety? Absolutely. Does he change this football team and make them now the Super Bowl contender? I do not believe so. And I will get into positions. You're talking about a guy who does play around the ball. I understand that, but you're talking about, George Kittle for the 49ers. Is this guy going to be a cover guy? No, he's going to be around the ball. He's going to try to slow down that rushing attack from the 49ers. What they gave up, in my opinion, does not lend itself to that type of position. I understand wanting playmakers. I understand all those arguments. But at the end of the day, are you getting the ball? How many times is he intercepting the ball? How many times is he transitioning this thing and flipping the field? All of those things matter to me. As good a player as he is, and he is an all-pro safety, I'm not taking anything away from him. But for me, for what they did, I don't think it pushes them over the top. I don't think they were that close, honestly, to begin with. I understand what Booger's saying. They have other positions that need to be addressed. Offensive line-wise, they have to get better. They have to play better. As good as Russell Wilson is, he's aging. You're asking him to do more and more and more with an offensive line that doesn't necessarily protect him great, and running backs who can, who by the end of the season often are banged up or injured. You're bringing guys in listen, that's a tough look. Does a safety position address that? Not in my opinion. So from my side, I just don't think it puts them over the top.
I get that, but maybe with an aging quarterback who's as good as Russell Wilson, the time to go for it is right now, which is the time that you trade 2 first-round picks in order to try and go for it. Booger, you look skeptical. What's the look on your face?
Well, I'm just curious. When we're talking about Russell Wilson aging, is Russell Wilson 45? Like, did he age 10 years overnight? I mean, when Tom Brady's playing till he's into his early 40s, what is Russell, 33, 34 years old?
He's 32.
Listen, guys, I truly understand the skepticism of paying a premium of all those draft picks to get a player like Jamal Adams. Greeny, but this league is about playmakers. Can you make plays for my team? Can you make impact plays? Think about this, Greeny. In the history of the NFL, there have been 2 players that have had 200-plus tackles, 10-plus sacks, and 25 pass breakups. Jamal Adams and J.J. Watt. That's it. That's the history of the NFL. Greeny, that's a long time. I don't know if y'all know that, but the history of the NFL, that is a long time. He is an impact player. I don't care if he plays between the goalposts 40 yards back. This young man is a playmaker. And when you put him in that system and you have to stop the 49ers, let's not forget, that's the first thing you have to do in the NFL. You must win that division in order to host the home playoff game. I know the playoff format has changed, but you want to host that home playoff game. And in order to do that, they got to stop the most feared rushing attack in football. And I like the move. I understand you paid a lot for Adams, but I do think he's going to be an impact player.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.